dream, I can fake it. And give me some relief, say it's just a dream, I can wait. I sigh with relief, it was just a dream, I can't face it.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden. As a part of a family and explorers of consciousness. I am the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the mossy creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live. It's Cosmic Conditions, our 28-day moon cycle. We're in the dark side of the moon, and it's time to learn, I guess, about another moon cycle tonight with Mary Dusina is here with us. Make sure you visit her website to check out everything she has to offer, plus get a reading at MaryDusina, MaryDusina.com. And guys, you guys need to know that, just so you know, like, I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel and grow other things to get a bigger audience so that other people can start supporting besides the same people, okay? Because the same people do support, and I love each and every one of you. You guys are great. You've kept this thing alive, and I'm going to do everything in my power to grow it. Although you have to understand, this PC is the only thing that I have that gets me to the outside world. But you know what? I think certain things are meant to be, because we have never missed a cosmic. I don't think we've ever missed a cosmic conditions. Not one in years. So whether or not the tech is working properly or not, God sees it fit to happen. But if you do want to support, the links are in the description. And if you want to use YouTube, do it, but they hit you with a 30, just letting you know. And also get a reading from Mary too, because Mary's likes to over deliver, right? She under promises and over delivers. That's her secret. That's why everybody loves. That's one of the reasons why everybody loves her. And she's been this home show astrologer for years now. Mary, thanks for coming out. It's good to have you again. Love you having you on the show.
Thank you. Oh, that's such a nice introduction, and thank you for your very kind and gracious compliments. I work hard I work hard to earn them. There's a whole lot of things, like you explained, there's a whole lot of things that I do pro bono, that, my Facebook pages, Cosmic Conditions, and my page, especially Cosmic Conditions, or Star Shaman. Lots of holistic data on there if you're on Facebook. I don't do as much on Instagram because I'm backing up from social media a little bit. There's the website, but as far as holistic things and little quick celestial updates, if you go to Cosmic Conditions and send a friend request there, that's more to do with like our wellness. The stars are a language, but so is color, and so is sound, and so is alchemy, and so are herbs. And so I like the, Reiki, and I like the full spectrum of the senses. And with the Virgo new moon, which we have actually on my time zone at 9:56 tonight, with the Virgo new moon each year, when the moon and the sun coalesce and hug at the new moon each month, they amplify, they strengthen a celestial tonic. So if you kind of don't have a lot of Virgo in your chart, or you want to know a boots on the ground type of way to understand astrology, if you just followed the feelings of each one of the new moons in a one-year cycle, you're on the planet anyway, right? So like this one is in Virgo. So the Virgo energy has to do with getting healthier, being more pragmatic, being willing. This is the season to do what you can to take one step up, to level up, to do with healthier habits. That could be mentally. You may be taking all the great supplements and herbs, and you're doing your Epsom salts, soaks, and, getting massages, and you go to the chiropractor, and you do this or that. I mean, God bless you. But if your mind is anxious, if your thoughts are in the monkey mind phase, because Virgo, even though it's an earth sign, it's Mercury ruled. So when we get Virgo, we can look at, if we're not careful, we can tend to look at things that aren't working yet. Or why can't I seem to just get that to just be effortless and be a routine in my life? I don't want it to keep rising up as a main problem in my life. So Virgo's minus or shadow can be if we let ourselves sink into criticism, sarcasm, nothing ever works for me. And remember, when it comes to thoughts, they're things. They are actions that we take, and we cast life into them. So Virgo and Gemini are signs, even though Virgo's earth and Gemini, where Mars is right now, is air. They both have that Mercury-ruled component of why not think about it in a completely different way. Now, where Gemini will think about it and be inspired and flushed with enthusiasm, Virgo's like, well, wait a minute. Let me look at that concept, and let me poke holes in that theory from all sides. And if I can look at it from all four sides, and then the two other directions of within, without, if I cannot tear it apart, perhaps that would work. So Virgo can go to extremes on, even in their own mind. The Virgo element in us is, let me tear this apart, let me see what could go wrong, give me the worst case scenario, and then I'll work around that. But the Virgo element is when we stared at the yard and it needed to be weeded, or we needed to plant this, or we needed to mow that, or we just needed to blow the leaves in autumn. I mean, there's a part of us that stares at what we know we ought to do, and the opposite of Virgo really can be the procrastination factor of like, I just don't want to do it. So as we go around the year, we often talk about in Aries, the year that we spring forth with, it's a new year, it's in springtime, and Taurus, we're just beginning to enjoy the season of spring and pleasure pursuits, and maybe, it's not so much snow and ice in the northern hemisphere when we're in Taurus. It's like, yay, April, May, and so we're beginning to just enjoy the uplift of spring. Then here comes Memorial Day and the May-June cycle of Gemini, and let's get out, let's meet, let's talk, let's think tank, but not a lot of boots on the ground, tangible results can come. Put your money where your mouth is. And Gemini is the realm of ideas. And then we get into nostalgia and what's working in 2024 with our family, our relatives, who have we had to set boundaries with, what do we need to, who do we need to see less of? What's a destructive relationship, your effort or mine? That seesaw, that back and forth. We start looking at, are we on the defensive? Are we too needy? Are our expectations, are we throwing our romantic fantasy expectations too hard on someone on the outside rather than looking at our own woundedness, our own shadow self? And then in Leo, when we get into that late July and August, and Leo comes around and says, I have faith, I have fire, nothing's going to keep me down, why not? And so we rise up again as heroes and champions and encouragers, and we summon our courage, and then Virgo happens. And Virgo's the sixth sign. So in the 12 months of the year, in the 12 zodiacal flavors, in the 12 constellation stews, in Virgo, we take a pause and we look back to Aries. We look back to the third week of March because Virgo's balance is Pisces. So the last sign of winter is Pisces. So right now, we're at the axis of Virgo-Pisces. That's only going to get stronger as we go into 2025 because the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon, the north node, the head of the dragon, and the tail of the dragon, the south node, are going to shift from the 18 months that they've been in Aries-Libra, which a lot of Aries-Libras will be wiping their foreheads going, thank God. And then it's going to shift into Virgo-Pisces. So as we get into this eclipse, this full moon, supermoon eclipse over the 16th, 17th, and 18th of September, it is the big deal of the month of September. It is the big deal. So it's going to trigger a lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse in Virgo's balance polarity sign of Pisces. So where Pisces is the mystical, and Pisces will tend to tune out somebody just thinking logical or somebody suggesting, well, this will only work if you can hold it, smell it, see it, touch it. Otherwise, it's just fantasy and you're in a dream world and snap out of it. The Pisces part of it literally is the bread of heaven, the manna, the bread of heaven. So Pisces is more to do with drawing down the power of the moon, the mysteries of the ocean, the mysteries of our feelings, why we get certain intuitive signals about people that we don't even know, and why some of the family members we've known forever, we never really understood why we had such an off feeling about that particular person. And then you get something like what we've got coming up. The Virgo-Pisces eclipses are going to start cranking up with this one in September. And for the next 18 months, the emphasis point, you heard it here first, the emphasis point is going to be in our charts, all of us start finding the Virgo and the Pisces houses, what we call the axis, A-X-I-S. We're going to be going into the flavors, and an enhancement of the Pisces-Virgo soul lessons. Psychological strengthening is going to be taking place in those areas of our chart. So not to confuse you, more than trying to figure out, well, I don't have any planets in Pisces, or I don't have much in Virgo, or anything in Virgo, so how's that going to affect me? Because when you were born, and when you establish the ascendant or the rising sign, that's the door that opens into the innermost, most powerful development of your soul and your ego together, like how the soul will override the egoic persona. So the front door of your chart sets you uniquely apart from just what your sun sign is. So you might have been born in the sign of Virgo, but you could have one of 12 other signs as the possibility of the front door of the innermost wisdom, understanding, challenges, weaknesses, and strengths of you. That's the ascendant or the rising sign, the sign that was rising in the east at the time, and the location on the planet that you were born. This is why astrologers kind of fuss and groan and want to get you to get the time, AM or PM, and the location of your birth. So there's a difference between being a Virgo moon and a Virgo sun sign and a Virgo rising sign. They all come across in a different kind of way when you're interpreting the strategic parts of the inner self, the outer self, the very most private self, and the part of us that connects up with our higher self. So right now with the sun in Virgo and in the 6th house, first you start to study when you type on your little Google or your Brave or your DuckDuckGo searches, what does the 6th house mean? This is the natural realm of Virgo. So whatever you have, if you've done your chart, whatever sign you have on your sixth house of your birth chart, your nativity, your natal chart, the fact that the sun is in Virgo right now, and it went in there, like August 22nd, 23rd, until we get to fall equinox on September 22nd, we're all having that month-long celestial school and soul lessons to do with Virgo and how it's kind of pointing to our sixth house. Then you take that personally and you find out, and where do I have Virgo announcing itself in my birth chart? So keywords for the Virgo is don't rush it, do it right the first time. It's an anticipation of success, because Virgo is the details, how the moving parts and all the moving pieces start to work together. Like when you figure out in machinery, or you figure out which is the best paintbrush, or which is going to be the right type of sandpaper to get you ready to prep the job. It's the prep for the job. It's how you can bring the tools and the supplies together, and it's all there, and then you just have to get that mood going to get the project done. So of all the 12 months of 2024, this month is the month to kind of look back to late February and early March, and it's kind of hard because so much is happening out there in the world right now, and we just get bombarded with so much. But those of you that journal, and those of you that like to just kind of make side notes and have your little desk calendars and journals and all that, if you look back 6 months ago, so if we're on September 2nd and you go back to like the end of February into March 2nd, the beginning of March, if you go back and what was your focus, how look back and kind of pat yourself on the back of what was a prominent issue or problem then, and look at the Virgo will give you the ability, because it's the balance to the sign of Pisces, to finally not have that glitch or that same issue or that problem to come up again. Virgo can actually be the anticipation of, oh my God, thank God I will never have that toe fungus again. Or thank God I finally figured out, for me, the best oil and moisturizer for my skin, or I don't have psoriasis anymore because I put castor oil on it and I figured out what to do. It's those great little wonderful life secrets that can come out, and it's like, who knew something that inexpensive could do so much? So it's like Virgo can give you the secrets in the 3D dimension of how to get the best deal, the more bang for the buck, as they say. It can help you find the great mechanic if somebody ever let you down before or just couldn't do it, or your mechanic moved away or they closed. Virgo is really good at problem solving and puzzle completion. So the anticipation and the excitement is getting the old problem not repeating anymore. And so when we opened up this month, we have 4 of the outer planets as September of 2024 opened. We have 4 of the outer planets that are beginning to do their retrograde thing. Like right on the 1st of September, Uranus, which rules the innovative sign of Aquarius, went retrograde at like 27, 26 degrees, really late degrees of Taurus. So Taurus and Virgo are both earth signs, so it's giving us a practical, hands-on approach to, you know what, I tried that, and that didn't work out well work-wise or financially. Maybe I'll do it this way. So it's giving us innovation, and it's giving us an intuitive sense on how to, as they say, work smarter, not harder. Now the key, because of this new moon tonight at 11 degrees of Virgo, it's opposing Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn is like, okay, pause, take a breath before you plow ahead, because you procrastinated and you put this off and now you're frustrated, and Saturn's just like, now wait a minute, I'm in Pisces and I'm telling you that if I cause a delay or I want you to look at it again, it's so you can have a more complete resolution, not just kind of jury rigging it for right now. So there's an energy with Saturn in Pisces that's saying, just let your intuition have a chance. Everything, I think when students of mystery and students of the spirit realize that intuition is our most logical and successful application. We tend to look at it as woo-woo. We tend to look at it as out there, because it's not printed in a book or nowadays on the internet or on TikTok. But our intuition is the factor that reaches from heaven to earth. And so it's a God-gifted quality that we all have that we can ignore. That's free. We can ignore it or we can activate it. And I would say that Virgo, next month we go into Libra. At fall equinox, on the 22nd, we go into Libra and we start looking at meetups and greet-ups and team players and those that really can help us join forces. But right now, Virgo is saying, what is it, have you asked yourself, it's not just money, it's not just your work, it's not just one relationship. What is it that you really would like to take the next step, and what is it that you'd like to activate and see practical results from it? The earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn want to see the fruits of their labor. They're not there just to have a good time. They're there to put the grunt work in, to apply the regular discernment and discipline to do the work that's required to get the results. So on September 1st, over this weekend, coming into Labor Day, which is such a great name for a Virgo holiday, we had Uranus in Taurus retrograde. We had Pluto pop back into Capricorn, and it's going to do the Capricorn dance until about November 19th and 20th of this year, and it'll go back into about 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's not going to bring back everything of when Pluto and Saturn joined forces in 2020, but you can certainly see by looking back 4 years how Capricorn, Pluto is the destruction and transformation of established structures. And Capricorn has to do with the elitists, the rulers, the kings and the queens, the respect my authority type of a thing. And so we saw in 2020 into 2022, we saw the top-down establishment wanting to put a boot on the neck of we the people in a various assortment of ways, including insurance and medical and job insecurity and lockdowns and things like that. So with Pluto briefly, from this early September into going back into Aquarius once it turns direct in October and gets back into 0 degrees of Aquarius, it's the last time that Pluto will be in the sign of Capricorn, which is America, the country of America's birth position, the Pluto return. It's not going to go back to Capricorn for 240-some years. So we're going to experience Aquarius on November 19th, and this is where I just keep getting this strong feeling about so much is going to be revealed with the Aquarian genre of like the 5th military space force, and like underground tunnel things and hybridization and a lot of disclosure coming out, not necessarily the way MUFON and the UFO community thinks it would be. It would totally be reliant on the government, but I believe that it's going to have a lot to do with fantastic, innovative ways of multidimensional healing and the ability to give rise to a common awareness by us that we're not just human. It's going to amp up our timeline jumping. It's going to amp up our ability to have ascension of frequencies and vibrations in a host of ways that literally are coming toward us, not just our own awakening, but the bounty and the cornucopia of seeing people around us also having massive awakenings and vibratory shifts, and people at their soul level wanting to experience life in the most holistic and mystical way that we can. You can still have fun, you can still party, but I believe a lot of the destructive tie-downs that we've had, that, we only will learn our lessons by going too far, too hard, getting addicted. Then we spend the rest of the years trying to get unlocked from the pharmaceutical prescriptions, or too much alcohol, or why do you always have to take it to extremes, and we got to break our psychological patterns. I just believe we're going to get this onrush, this massive off-planet, heavenly, if you will, higher self type of uploads and downloads that are going to advance our frequencies to where we all of a sudden are like, whoa, man, that makes sense. And a lot of the stuff that we deemed 3D important just making money. Look, we got to do the rent and the mortgage and get a car. I get all that. But we're going to be able to have the frustration and the pressure off of it, and more of, I'm here for a lot bigger reasons than just go to work, get up, stay healthy, love somebody, break up with somebody, blah, 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 and then you die. You know, it's like the whole thing of like you work hard, taxes, and you die type of a thing. We're going to have such heavenly connection and such spiritual, tangible manifestations that you're truly, and this isn't about division, we're truly going to be linking up with our heart tribe, our heart, soul, third eye, pineal gland tribe, you know, crown chakra stuff, and it's going to happen in an effortless type of way. So now, before we get to this November 19th, this month, September's opening up the fall eclipses. And so the one that leads is our emotions and our oceans of emotions and our feelings. You know, we have a feeling about something, and then the emotions start to activate. So with Pisces, the full moon in Pisces, this one's a supermoon, this one's a lunar eclipse, and it's supposed to be pretty visible in Texas and I think over in Tanzania. But this eclipse in Pisces, it's the harvest moon, it will be the harvest moon of 2024, is wanting to bathe us in light. So of all the full moons this year, if you can just get outdoors in the evening tide on the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and just allow the moonlight to cascade around you, and without any attention to all the various details that could happen. You don't have to go into the whole magical spiel of, if I don't name it, it won't happen because I didn't call its life. And no, just simply say, I release any known or unknown heaviness or burdens that have been upon me for ages, for eons, in my mind, in my thoughts, in my continents, in the cellular atomic levels of my body, my ancestors, my DNA, and I allow all of that to now be blessed and amplified by love's light under this Piscean lunar eclipse. Just let the forces of light take it from you. Know that your guardian angels, know that anything in spirit that's ever loved you, any ancestor, any grandparent, any uncle or aunt or sibling or animal that's ever loved you, that's also just slipped its skin and gazing at you, right by you, and its spirit self, that all of that, besides your guardian angels and your higher guides and your soul's contract, and all of that is cheering you on to succeed. And Virgo is saying to you, what petty details, where are you giving yourself a hard time? Where are you allowing yourself to get frustrated, aggravated, and impatient over some daily activities or the dishes not getting done? Just go do them and shut up bitching about it, or where you have to go or what broke down or whatever. Just know that in the divine timing of things, in the grand scheme of your soul, it doesn't matter. Just get up, be grateful. Virgo, step-by-step details. Be grateful. Do the best that you can. No shortcuts. Do the best that you can. Be a person that cares as you walk this world. And then when you have things like Mars squaring Neptune, because Mars is in Gemini and Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, instead of all these online astrologers barking about, oh, my God, Mars is in Gemini and it's going to square off with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. Oh, my God, it's going to be rough days on the 1st and 2nd of September. Well, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So if I let it get to me, you know, the beauty of astrology or numerology or predictive arts, let's call them arts, is that by having an advanced notice of when the planets or when the signs are going to be in a tug-of-war or they're really just like wanting to hug each other, that it helps you be able to maneuver your work projects or your outings in a much more productive type of a time frame. So, for example, in September, when we have Mars entering Cancer on the 4th of September. When Mars goes into Cancer, it'll be at the beginning degrees of Cancer. So anybody that's born at the beginning of Aries, at the beginning of Libra, at the beginning of Capricorn, and at the beginning of Cancer, the cardinal signs, we're going to start to see new beginnings, segues that open up. It once was a no, now it's going to be a yes, because Mars in Cancer, it's the crab, so it comes at it from a different door. It comes at it sideways. It comes at it from a different angle. So between the 4th and the 6th of September, Mars will go into the water sign of Cancer. Our intuition, again, is amplified, just like the Pisces full moon coming up, just like Saturn being in Pisces, just like Neptune being in Pisces. When we get that Mars in Cancer, then what's happening about 4 days from now when the moon's in Scorpio is there's some real positive spiritual, financial, psychological gifts that are coming our way between the 4th and the 8th of September. And then when we have Mercury moving into Virgo, its home place, over the 8th and 9th of September, and then by the 14th, Venus in Libra, she's happy in Libra, when she's going to trine Jupiter in the sign of Gemini right before we have this full moon lunar eclipse. So if you can just, no matter what your sign is, if you can just look at how do the zodiac flavors, what's my optimal attitude right now till I get to that full moon about 2.5 weeks from now, nose to the grindstone, go ahead and get the things done. If you've got an over-cluttered garage, if you've got an overcrowded closet, these are when you're really not using the stuff and it's just clutter mania. Virgo says if you'll just go streamline that closet, if you'll just go organize something, organize your cabinets, get ready to prep for fall and winter, organize the soups and the dates and do those little Virgo things like put the date that it goes out of date on the back of the can so you have some kind of guideline. Just do something to organize or to clean. These are open-eyed meditations under Virgo that the conscious mind goes, damn, I've never done a closet like that so well in 15, 20 years. We're ending a double-decade cycle with these eclipse cycles. So we're ending, go back to 2003 and 2004, back when we were dealing with the Aries-Libra eclipse cycles prior to this. So now we're going to shift back into Virgo Pisces. So it's all about how our conscious mind, how our intelligence, how our ability to study and to help educate others and to be a very sincere teacher. And Virgo and Pisces are the service signs. It's like Pisces is known as the cosmic Santa Claus. They don't have really good boundaries. Strong Pisces charts don't have good boundaries. They tend to avoid setting boundaries or confronting things because they're afraid of being rejected or not liked if they stood up for themselves, and then they'll complain about the rejection. Virgo, on the other hand, says, I'm going to do it this way. You don't want to do it that way, that's fine. I'm going to do it this way because I know this way works. Now, you can either learn or you can go learn it the hard way. So the Virgo part of us is willing to do the work. All this Pisces energy, the full moon and Saturn and Neptune and Mars going into Cancer, and soon, toward the end of the month, Venus going into Scorpio. This water sign emphasis is saying your dreams are talking. Your psychic intuitive ability is real. It's not a pipe dream. Just get into the routine, Virgo, get into the routine of seeking, actually being respectful of your angels and your higher self, and at one time a day, whether you're better in the morning or at night, one time a day, releasing your frustrations. I release any and all blocks or frustrations to my higher guides. Thank you for allowing me to see with clear vision. Thank you for the strength of my intuition. I am not going to let this, well, what if that happens and what if this happens? I'm not going to let the criticism, the sarcasm, and the doubting Thomas of the minus qualities of Virgo overwhelm me. How is it logical that if I let myself go negative, that all I'm going to do is put myself in a really pissant mood, and that's going to affect my creativity? So Virgo is the discipline to keep on keeping on, one step at a time. I'm going to do this, and if I don't finish it today, at least I'm organized about it, I'm dedicated with it, and I'm going to accomplish this, but I'm not psychologically attached to the outcome. What I'm committed to is to ascertain a solution by putting my best foot forward, being willing to learn, and being willing to unlearn some of the ways that I always did it that way before. My daddy did it like that, and my mama did it like that, and that's good enough for me. No, not always. Virgo is here to give you, to up-level you, to transform you in a lot of positive ways. So, like, it's practical in your relationships. Virgo is about, don't give me pretty words, show me what's going on with action. So it's like the person that may not tell you they love you 15 times a day, but they cared enough to take you to lunch. They cared enough to make you one of your favorite meals. They cared enough to walk your dog. They cared enough to text or check on you. Don't let those small things be disregarded, because that's people that are reaching out to give a damn about you when they could be all about themselves. They could walk their own dog. They could fix their own meals. So people that are reaching out now in very third-dimensional ways, hey, haven't heard from you in a while, everything okay? Want to go get a drink? Want to go walk in the woods? Want to take a hike or whatever? Right now, Virgo's showing you who could be some fortunate soldiers in your army of success. So Virgo brings you the people that, yeah, they've got problems and, yeah, they've got issues, but I think when people give to us, or I think when people, appreciate us, it reminds us, ourselves, to be appreciative of all the people and all the situations, although it may be 20 years ago or 10 years ago, that were a part and parcel of us being right where we are right now and having what we have right now, even if we're still complaining that it's not enough, or it could be better. It could always be better. It could always be worse. That we take a little timeline jump, like, you know what, because of so-and-so, this happened. And even if we agree to disagree at this point in 2024, they were still an integral part of my persona, being able to learn how to set a boundary, to not take disrespect in a relationship, be it personal, intimate, or work. They were a part of me being able to stand up for myself and to say no instead of just always saying yes, hoping it would work out. So the Virgo is showing us the parts of us that have accomplished psychologically being responsible and taking care of our own needs, and it's important. It's really important. It's not always, we tend to reach out for that person that can give us the sensual thrill, the financial thrill, the parent that'll bail us out, the kid that'll bail us out. But Virgo is about, let's not disregard how you have inspired, not just financially, but how you have inspired, the words that you say, the fact that you kept on showing up and doing what you did without thought of, well, where's the next meal going to come from, or what about gas in my car? Virgo is the part of us that says, okay, I'm born for a reason. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm just going to show up and do the best that I can and be a soul soldier and do my part. And then in the collective, anybody that comes into my community or my awareness will remember me as a person that didn't go around whining and complaining all the time, but took the time out of my schedule to also want to give some encouraging words or some wisdoms or insights to my fellow traveler, my fellow person that's walking this life road in the same generation I am, in the same year that I am. So the more that we can, with Virgo, step back from the political or the war or the social media fear parade or you're right, I'm wrong, I really feel with the intuitive energy now coming up for a high tide. It's no accident that we come into higher hurricane season in September and October. We have, the Pisces is the balance to Virgo. So the last week of August, we go into Virgo. And typically all the years I lived in Florida, September and October were those high surges of when things were going to come in around the Florida and the North Carolina coastlines. So we're in a high tide of oceanic surges and warm waters and the Gulf and how the things spin from the Caribbean or roll off the shores of Africa like they do every year. And if you don't think that swelling of waters and the warming of waters and the hurricanes and the typhoons and there's like a place in California, 140 people or more are going to get their power shut off mandatorily because there's some kind of mudslide or the land shifting. And these people have houses out there, and they've already shut off their gas for a month. I just found out about today, and they're going to shut off their power. And so these people are like, okay, the land's collapsing and there's a landslide, but, sucks to be you. We're going to cut your power off because the land's shifting and it might cause some fires and all. So you're going to sit in your house without power and without gas. So thank God California's kind of warm, and it's not like, winter and that type of thing. But when you claim you're a light worker and you're working on advancing your soul, Virgo is also a time for all of us to, when news comes toward us, our first line as an alchemist, our first line of work, the work to be done is we're blessing that area that we hear about in the world that got struck with a bomb or the tunnel got blown up or whatever it is. We're not going to know the meat and potatoes of what the deep state knows. You're not going to, and you can waste a lot of your life force trying to figure it out. But if we send light, if we do the practical thing and say, yeah, it's probably not going to go that way for you because I'm going to join forces with the light, and I'm going to think about, I'm over here in the Smoky Mountains, but I'm going to send energy to those people in California that are getting their power shut off. Does it affect me directly? No, but you know what? Why wouldn't I want to send some good energy? So Virgo is, if it comes across your path and you can at least send, you want to practice how spiritual you are? Well, put the boots on the ground and do it. Send some of your collective spiritual mojo juju to people that are going through a hard time. Take the focus off of just your problems and what's going on with you and help the indigestion of the world, if you will. Virgo rules the digestive system. It rules how we're dealing with our tension and our stressor zones. And so if your stomach's upset, if you're acidic, if you've got acid reflux, if your ankles are swelling, if you're retaining fluids, those are Virgo Pisces areas saying you're not as much in alignment as you think you are. Check yourself and start doing some breath work and release that stress. I'm not saying you have to go exercise at the gym. I'm not saying that, you might drink less Diet Coke. You might, cut back on the wrong kinds of salts. You might think about some minerals to go into your system. You might look up on YouTube or social media, I've had an issue with my bladder or my kidneys or my cervix or my migraines. Why don't you just do a little current search on what are some healthy ways to cure migraines naturally, or what are some healthy ways to make sure I'm not constipated? Do those private searches, because Virgo is the one time in 2024 that some incredible healers, therapists, teachings, and teachers can come towards you before we get to fall equinox. So Virgo's about, if you were really honest with yourself, how well are you attending to your mental health, psychological health, and how is that affecting or infecting your beautiful physical temple? So instead of criticizing your body or your hair or your mind or your skin, maybe instead back off of that and start being excited again and have anticipation about, you know what, I'm not going to worry about all those creams that they advertise for $100. I'm going to get some witch hazel and I'm going to clean my skin and I'm going to put some coconut oil on it or some carrot oil on it or some rose oil on it, some things that aren't $100 and a bunch of chemicals. I'm going to be able to regenerate my skin. I'm going to put some coconut oil on my scalp and let my hair start to grow in more effective, or castor oil. There's some time-tested Mother Nature natural things that don't have to cost you $100 and $200, and you don't have to have shoes, ladies, that are $200 and $500 just because they got red soles on the bottom of it, on the high heels. Really?
Is that what they're paying for? Is the soles?
God, yes. That's why they always cross their legs so you can see that the high heels, the whole bottom of the shoe, if it's black or blue or white, the whole bottom of the shoe's got the red soles on it. Really? I mean, come on. Talk about vanity. So, and Pisces rules the feet. So instead of trying to display your worthiness with the $1,000 purse or, the Ferrari car, great, listen, I wish you all the money, I wish you all the success, but I promise you, with a lot of the bigger toys and the money also comes a need to be more protective. Like you've got the $200,000 car, where are you going to park it? Where are you going to drive it? Where do you live? People are going to try to break into that one more? They're going to scratch it because they're jealous of you? There's a whole sundry of things that can come with the responsibility of having the bougie stuff.
There's a balance for sure, right? Like you don't have to be. Bougie is a really good word for it, like.
Some of my black clients like to call, oh, she's so extra. I like bougie, but they'll say, he's so extra. It's so funny to hear people do that.
Once you go there, now you got to live up to that lifestyle. For what? For who? Who are you trying to impress?
Well, with Virgo, at least ask yourself, what do I feel? Let's sky's the limit. What do I feel if I had a $250,000 car and I lived in $1 million mansion? What about that do I feel would make me happy? Versus I now live in a place that's paid for, and all I have to come up with each year is the taxes. Because what people don't realize when you pay off a house, even though you paid it off, if you don't pay those house taxes, they can take your mortgage just like a warm knife and butter. So there's things that you learn. The practicalities of Virgo is pay your damn house taxes first and foremost. And then if you get a little behind on your mortgage, you're okay. You better pay those house taxes, because that's when they can take your $250,000 house or $500,000 house that you paid off because you didn't pay the house taxes. Because there's all those little legal caveats that we find out when the sun gets into Libra, all that little stuff behind the scenes. So Virgo it's your innate genius. And the way that we advance our intellectual genius, truly, is to look at the Virgo and the Pisces. So if Virgo is the practical mind that loves to learn, it doesn't resent having somebody teach it something new, mechanical or holistic or astrological or spiritually. Virgo seeks to learn because it knows it will advance with the knowledge. Well, then we combine that with Pisces, which anytime the sun's in Virgo and planets are in Virgo, it's already tickling Pisces because we pull in the polarity. So the Pisces is saying, I'm your holy guide. I'm your intuition. If you ask me, I'll respond to you. Some people get their psychic answers in a dream. Other people take a little nap in the chair, and all of a sudden they go, wow, I never thought about that way. But if we ask, those visions, those dreams, those experiences, even if you're going to get your astrological chart reading, bless the astrologer, bless the psychic, bless the therapist, bless the health department if that's where you're going to go. Bless. Before I go into the big box stores or anything, because here's what they used to do on the big box store. Oh, my God, look at how crowded the parking lot is. I've done it. Guilty. Raise my hand. But instead I'll go, okay, this seems very, very trite and very non-important. But you know what? There's a whole sea of people going into that store right there, and I'm just going to bless it that I'm here at the right place, right time. And it is amazing when I remember to do that little thing, and it doesn't cost me anything. It's just I need to pay attention to it. Energy flows where our attention goes. I will get a parking place at the big box store. I'll go right into customer service. There's lines everywhere, and it's like, hey, Mary, and I go right in, and I'm out in like 45 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes, and I'm like, that was amazing. So I play as an alchemist on very trivial 3D things because it's a great way to do practical magic. It's a great way to invoke your scriptures. It's a great way to play and have an actual visible to invisible dynamic with your holy guides. It's just like, okay, let me just test this. Let's play, shall we? And then you engage them, and they're like, okay, I got you. And I bless the food before I get there. All these things we were taught as kids, but we just get so busy with, oh, my God, I got to come up with $500 for those 2 power bills. We just get our minds somewhere else, and the dark side goes, ha, 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 I just stifled their creativity, and I'm going to delay them another month on what they want to make money on because I got them all frustrated. Stop giving your power away to trivial frustrations and anxieties and overthinking things. These are the minus points of the Mercury-ruled signs of Gemini and Virgo. If you overthink it, it's still not going to solve your problem. You've got to combine using your mind to call forth your holy guides, using your mind to put the spirit of the light and the love on it, to work with, even though sometimes people say, oh, I feel guilty calling in my angels on the small things. I said, oh, okay, so did the small thing put you in a crappy mood? Yeah, so wouldn't it be better if your angel could help you not get in that crappy mood to affect everybody else as well as yourself and your indigestion and your constipation and your headache and all that? Because you got yourself all out of joint? Why don't you just ask for divine alignment? Why don't you just say, walk with me today, Almighty I am. Be with me in everything that I do, Great Spirit. Thank you, Great Mystery, for solving this. I don't need to know the details or be a part of it. I just accept the win. Try it. It's free. You don't have to pay the therapist. You don't have to pay the doctor. You don't have to pay the psychic. That's why Joe and different guests that he has on, and I come on to try to teach you, because we both are showing up pro bono, and we've been doing this to help the audience. We want you to win. We want to get paid for what we do. It's what we do for a living. But at the same time, we're perfectly willing to demonstrate stories and alchemy and procedures and exercises to where you, too, can do these things. So
what is your Virgo thought on that? Because people asking, I've been working with other streamers and podcasters and stuff, and everybody's got a different attitude about what you just said. What is the Virgo energy into? I put in my work to create every day. I want to get paid for it, but I'm not getting paid for it. I understand the not complaining and all this other stuff, but what does Virgo say about that? Because there's a lot of creators nowadays,
Right. Well, Virgo is it's like you keep on keeping on. It's that diligence, and it's not getting caught up in I need to compete with the other influencer or podcaster. I'll mention their name. I'll give them credit on my podcast. I like that astrologer, like I do with Nicole. Nicole mentioned you. I mentioned Nicole. We want to have the win-win. And so the way that when you step out of needing to be envious or compete with anybody else in your field.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I want you to win. I want you to win. So, like Robert Phoenix may be an astrologer that says it this way. I love the way Jeff Harmon, when you have him on the show, presents his stuff. He's got the Vedic style and the stones. I mean, there's no competition there. I respect and appreciate his 45 years of doing. I have no problem mentioning the Leo King or Robert Phoenix or whoever that does their own style of something that I study. But you get your unique, people feel safe with you when you're not out to compete with somebody else or to compare, as you say, with somebody else, and everybody wins if there's 5 astrologers, and they all talked about Virgo, and 5 different people in the audience. Oh, I relate the way Mary said it. I relate the way Robert said it. I relate the way that one said it. Virgo is about the attention, paying attention to the details, but not letting the details overly control or frustrate you. So the Virgo aspect of it, I got a hole to dig. I got to dig the hole. Yeah.
What you just said about feeling safe nailed it for me.
Yeah.
I feel safe around people that are in an abundant mindset. Like there's plenty for everybody. As soon as I feel, which is something else I'm working on too spiritually, but as soon as I feel like competition or this person's competing with me or comparing or whatever, like I just want to get away from it. It's not that I want to push that person away. It's just like, this is not the vibration I want to be on. You know
what that is? That's the minus side of Pisces, the opposite sign of Virgo. The minus side of Pisces are energy thieves or energy vampires. And I will turn around to somebody when I feel that, and I will say, I'll try to point out something that's unique about them, and I will say, I'll teach them about energy thievery, or I'll teach them, you may not be doing this, you may not be aware of this, but when you get upset that you don't get the attention at the luncheon, when you're trying to suck the oxygen out of the room and you're trying to take credit for somebody else's, or you're plagiarizing, or you're like you said, comparing or competing, I'll look at them and I'll say, give me your best idea, I'm interested. If they're threatened by me, then I'm going to come up. Now, if they're being disrespectful of me, I'll check their ass right away.
Well, sure, sure.
Yeah, right. And you would too, Joe. You would too. It's just I'll look and I'm like, you sure you want to go there? You check yourself, pump your brakes.
Actually, it took me 3 or 4 years to learn to do that. I was such a people pleaser that people just flat out disrespect me in my personal life, and just do certain things, and I'd just be like, instead of doing the healthy boundaries, I would hold things in until it would get to a point, and then I would pop. Right.
Volcano. Yeah.
And then Virgo, you could do that step by step. You have to know your boundaries too to be able to put bricks down too, right? So
when it comes to setting boundaries, and the empath, wanting to be the people pleaser, so to speak, that's an art too, and it's a kindness. It's usually born from kindness, not just insecurity, but it's usually born from kindness, and like, I want to demonstrate love to you as a friend. I want to be a loyal partner. I want to be the person, no matter who's betrayed you, in business or in personal, I'm not going to do that to you. Now, you may lose me if you're disrespectful to me, but I will not deliberately betray you. I will not try to take from you what's yours. I will not do that. You have my word on that. And I think that sometimes, Joe, people, and your audience knows this, sometimes we go through that testing ground of life where people, they've had so many people disappoint them that even when the good person comes along, they just kind of got to poke the tiger to test it to make sure that what I said or what you said was the truth. And I'm going to turn around and go, are you okay? Is that what you want? I mean, you're poking me. Is that what you want? I'm a 3-strike girl.
Yeah.
I'm a 3-strike girl. You sure that's the path you want to go down? Because I'm telling you, just talk to me about what you're insecure about, or talk to me about what's going on. And I think a lot of people that hold it in, to your point, Virgo is one of the communication signs, where Gemini can use words for influencing and bedazzling and talking over
Manipulating.
people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Call it what
Virgo
it is.
more, oh, absolutely. Well, Gemini easily gets the reputation, if they play it on the negative sign, of being the silver-tongued devil.
Yeah.
To manipulate or be the player. The best circus snake oil salesman there is. And Capricorn can come in second to that. If they really want to play the manipulation game, they've got the ability to do it with Saturn ruling them. And Mercury can be just, vacuous words with no meaning. Virgo, being ruled by Mercury, wants to put the proofs in the pudding. Virgo will say, look, here's the wrench I used. This is how I fixed your car, and I'm not going to rip you off. I don't want to take advantage of you just because you're driving a Ferrari doesn't mean I'm going to charge you double. Or just because you're a woman doesn't mean, and I know you don't know necessarily, I'm not going to charge you more because you're a woman if I'm a mechanic. So Virgo's about, no matter who tries to rip me off, compare with me, or compete, if I just keep my nose to the grindstone and I know that I'm building a reputation of what I say I will do, and if I can't do it and something goes sideways, I'll own it, saying, this came out of the blue, did not know this was going on, let me explain to you what happened, because everybody has stuff that comes out of the blue, and nobody's project is all-seeing eye important over everything else. So we have to be able to adapt. And Virgo is that ability for us to adapt to, even though we have a list, even though we have a timeline, even though we have a goal to accomplish for that week or this project or whatever, the Virgo practical side says might be a big thunderstorm, might be a hurricane, may cancel out everything. But we still know how we're going to come back with it. So it's that diligence. It's that put one foot in front of the other. As they say, if you get knocked off the horse, get back up in the saddle. Virgo is not going to give up. It's going to want to do the right thing, the right way, the first time. And so that, we don't have to be a Virgo. That's just the best energy of a Virgo, is to set your mind, do your best, and if there's something that falls short, be willing to admit that. Be willing to say, they didn't have the part, they didn't have the tool. So-and-so got sick, they closed down the station. Whatever, come up and just tell people the way it is. And it's just like you don't get caught up in the fact that something just pushed you back 3 days. I have so many people that have a lot of the earth signs that if it doesn't go according to their list at that time, and I'm like, listen, you guys, you earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you got the best kind of OCD. Make a plan, make a list of. I love that about the earth signs, but they go absolutely
not very adaptable though, right?
Right. They have and one of the memes I saw the other day, it was just a crow. It was a crow or a raven's wing, and it was a great meme, and it just said, "Change is going to ruffle some feathers."
Yeah.
And it was just a wing. It was just a close-up of a wing of a bird, and I'm like, boy, you know what? Be willing. I guess I'll say it that way. Be willing to have your feathers ruffled, so that some of the changes can up-level you and educate you. And do I think I love it when I say to myself, oh, wow, I never looked at that way before. That's great. That's a whole new way of seeing it. And then Joe or I or anybody else out there listening can decide, is that a good way for me to proceed, or have I found my old stylized procedures still work well for me? Virgo's about that foundation. Virgo, similar to Capricorn, is about, I got to have some kind of foundation that builds my confidence. So
right.
Even though I've been an active, happy student of celestial mechanics for over 35 years, I absolutely don't have an obstinate attitude of like, oh, I know everything. I mean, I love learning new things. And some of the stuff, it's just like everybody's into this, what is it, that new thing, life design type of chart. So I'm like, oh, God, take the ball and run with it. I have spent 35 years in Western astrology. I'm good with that. I'm not going to take on the life design chart. Y'all run with it and have a good time. I got this system working for me, and I'll learn more about it. I'm not saying the other isn't valid, but I don't need to study any more about Vedic or this or that. After a while, when you study, you'll know which one really resonates with you. Like, I love Oracle. I love tarot. Astrology is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I love I love the simplicity of meditating or waking up from a dream, and my guides did all the work for me. I didn't have to look at the stars, didn't have to look at the numbers. I just said to my guides and my angels, would you dream that into me so I can have that answer? Or like you talk about a lot, Joe, ethereal and astral projection, out-of-body wisdom. I mean, these are things, you can bitch and moan about money all you want to, but if you would start doing some of the free stuff that you could do, write your dreams down, work on some music, get some music healing, watch the wind blow through the trees. It's free when you don't have that money in your pocket, and call your guides in and just journal for 2 weeks. Just journal for 2 weeks. This is my concern at hand. It's September the 2nd, and I would like to have Great Spirit's resolution to this in God's own perfect ways, and just take that one little thing that you were concerned about on this Labor Day weekend, give it to your angels. I mean, experiment with it. Give it to your angels. Try not to direct it or control it, and watch how fast it'll come back into you. Because this is the training. Right now, new moons are the seeds. So the seeds that we're planting is we're coming to the harvest. We're coming to the harvest. Virgo is the harvest maiden. Virgo is looking back at the flowers that you planted, the vegetables, when you prepped, and looking at your pantry thing. I bought a couple of extra cans of this each time I went to the grocery store. Even though inflation is up, I bought another can of salmon. I bought another can of canned white meat chicken, and I just put that in there. Not out of panic, not out of fear. It's just going to make my cost factor in winter not hit me so hard at Christmas or Hanukkah or winter when the snow's on the ground. If I'm taking care of some of this stuff when it's still 90 degrees outside, most people aren't buying that. When I find butter on sale, I buy it and I slam it in the freezer. So it's, even though inflation's way up, I'm letting Virgo be the part of me that finds the bargain. I'm like, oop, okay, that wasn't on the list today, but boy, I mean, I found Kerrygold butter for $1 at an outlet store. I mean, the expensive stuff for $1. It was going to go out of date in 3 days. I bought 12 of them and slammed them in the freezer because that stops it from going bad. So what Virgo is about, that practical spending of, like, I don't want to have to pay $6 for butter all the time, and Thanksgiving's coming, and I like to do my little hillbilly woman Italian cooking, so I'm going to get my butter stored up, and it's still good, and I found it for $1. That's $6 butter. I found it for $1. I'm like, thank you, guys, thank you. So when I start getting frustrated over the cost of living, I invite my guides to bring me the bargains that are going to be better for me all around, and I walk into it. I just walk into it. Most people that I know in advanced metaphysics, they don't even do that kind of stuff. They think it's got to be, I got to go get Reiki, or I got to do this, or I got to do that, or I got to meditate for 8 hours. No, you don't. That's why the Bible talks about, like, snapping your fingers, and in the twinkling of an eye, there's a quickening, and it happens. You got to walk with your alchemy. You got to put it into practice every day in your day-to-day living. And it happens. It will excite you. It will excite you when you see, wow, I still have the same $10 in my pocket that I had, and look at what happened all around me that I didn't even have to spend that $10 that I was worried about not having enough. But you've got to start getting practical, Virgo, about working with your magic, about working with manifesting, about calling life. Use your words and your mind to only give life to things that you would like to see around you. So versus how much we worry in thought, mind, or deed, if we would say, I am very grateful and I give thanks for the prosperity that is ever flowing around me, from me and around me. I prosper other people. Through my work, I will help other people. I can't tell you how many times over the last 30 years people have said to me, thank you for the money that you saved me by helping me through what I did. Now, that's bigger to me than getting the payment for the reading. For someone to come back and say, oh, my God, because I got that reading, and what happened for me is I went on this course instead of that course, and oh, my God, how you helped me from going off the cliff. And I'm like, no, Spirit directed us together, and because we were in concert with each other, Spirit was amplified. I'm very grateful to be a part of that. I deserve the fee that I charge. I have no guilt about that, but I'm grateful that you were doubly blessed because of it.
I believe that too. But,
it makes me happy.
Yeah.
It makes me happy that people get through their patterns or their problems. I love seeing a client come out of a narcissistic relationship and they're like the walking wounded and they got to have their time to heal, but they still continue to have faith and invest in themselves and not blame themselves forever because they got duped or conned or ripped off emotionally, intimately, financially, but they don't let the ghost of Christmas past, so to speak, haunt them and infect their next relationship. We have to we're all going to hit these lessons. I'm convinced, Joe, this is Earth school. And I'm convinced that, yes, there's spiritual warfare. Yes, there's forces of light and darkness. And maybe the angels of darkness, or maybe the temptations and the beguilements and the bewitchments are to help us know that, oh, I'm better when I'm on this side of the fence. I'm better when I do it that way. We're all going to have to meet the dark aspects of ourselves, the addicted aspects of ourselves, the needy aspects of ourselves, all of us, regardless of your zodiac signs or your chart. We have to go through certain soul lessons and graduations, and by learning the signs of your chart, it gives you a psychological advantage and a perspective of how would my Scorpio moon best handle that. Okay, Scorpio's kind of secretive, so maybe if I stop talking about my problems all the time and invite my guides and the Holy Ghost or Great Spirit or whatever, maybe I'll work in silence more, and I'll try to confront my own negativity and stop giving into that.
Hey, I don't mind listening to people complain as long as you've exhausted all of your practical options.
Yeah.
Right, like have you done everything in your power to change the thing that you're feeling, the way you feel about? Like that's the thing, right? Like have you not just keep a positive mindset and let spirit work for you, but like have you took the Virgo logical, practical approach to, even if you're scared to, do that thing, give that service, ask that person, have you done, or you're just sitting there like worrying and hurting and thinking? That's another thing. Yeah, that just makes everything worse. And then it magnetizes all of that at the same time,
Well, the fear of trying something different can be the paralysis of Pisces. It can be that fear is a paralyzer. Fear is a freeze frame. It's like, well, what about this and what about that? The Pisces part of it is like, I'm scared to jump into the water. I'm scared to do it. We've all had that as a little kid when we had to jump into the pool or go from the kiddie part of the pool, the shallow end, into the deeper end. We all had our own strategies and our own ways of doing it. My Sagittarius father just said, jump off the high dive and just do it. And I'm like, no. I want to go on the lower diving board first. I want to get used to it. But I was still going in to the 12, 15-foot depth of water, but I just wasn't ready the first time to go jump up there on the high dive. And Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, whee, they don't care. I was like, nope, and nope. I'm gonna do it my own way. But once I did it my own way, then I made it to the high dive. But if somebody would have just taken me up there and pushed me off the high dive, it might have put some post-traumatic trauma in me about the water and the lungs and all that kind of stuff going in there and burning my throat. So you got to kind of work with, if you're heavy in water signs, you got to feel the right moment. If you're heavy in air signs, you might analyze it too much. You might come at it with too much thought and not enough action. If you're fire signs, you're probably just going to do the wheelie on the motorcycle the first time and not even think about being thrown off the bike. It's like the race car. Yeah. And the earth signs are going to be, well, now let's see, I'm 12 years old and I'm this high and that tall, so I probably should wait and have my guardian there in the first place and do it. I mean, everybody just has a different strategy. None of them are wrong. It's just finding the best fit for yourself. And I think that's the main thing about September this year. I believe that September, even with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, eclipses amp things up in the world, weather-wise, politically. If we're going to have wild-ass water, wind-driven water, or landslides or things like that, absolutely a full moon eclipse, a partial eclipse, and a supermoon, it's closest to Earth, could stir the waters of the oceans. It could be sharks in unusual places. It could be water anomalies. It could be an increase in piracy going on as well. But as far as the wildness of the world of this year, just all the wild vitriol and fighting, and, it's not, the wars are not just going on in Ukraine, Russia, Israel, and Palestinians. It's like there's like this war and this divisiveness that's going on with people. You're woke, we do this, you're that. It's just like, stop it. It's madness. And you've got elitists wanting to drive you in the fear-anger zone, and that's what brings you your indigestion, your stress in your soul. So whatever you believe matters to you. You don't need to push it on me. I don't need to push mine on yours. We need to be more united in love and light for the sake of the planet, not just the country you live in. We have got to get ourselves back together and get more congruent with the sake of harmony and soul peacefulness. So we need more music, and we need more musicians, and we need more support to the comedians that they tried to shut down in 2022. Oh no, you can't say that in a comedy club, and you can't do this, and you can't do nope. You can't go to a concert. You can go to a strip bar, but you can't go to church. Yeah, that's never happening again. Yeah, no. The liquor stores are open, but nope, you can't go to church. It's like, really, I don't think so. So I believe that we all grew collectively when they tried to make us sheep in 2020, when Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, and then we had that major conjunction in 2020 in December around winter solstice of 2020, and now people have seen we the people, a sovereign soul, versus somebody telling me I got to believe and I got to see it just the way you see it and not the way they see it. And it's like, yeah, no, I am a multidimensional, multifaceted spiritual being, and my spirit is inside a physical temple, and it is not up to the government, and it is not up to this party or that race or this color or this level, stratosphere of wealth to tell me what to do with my spirit and my soul. No. N-O-P-E. Nope, not happening. We have to take the responsibility of our actions and our attitude and stop blaming the political party or that side of the world or the money or crypto versus this or that, and we just need to pull in the prosperity of the divine. Just let yourself be tuned up, stop all the words, and just simply say, I now allow divine alignment. I allow the divine alignment and the sacred tune-up in God's own perfect ways, only in harmony, alongside prosperity, all is well with my soul. Yeah, just cut out all the words and just go for that. And just
Mary,
go for that and watch it play out in your world.
You want to do the signs when we come back? We've got to pay the station for the music and Fringe FM stuff.
Absolutely.
And then,
Absolutely, and then we'll take calls.
We'll be right back. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay with us here with Mary Dusina.
Wondered, what do the stars say for me? Or will the next month or the next year be more favorable? How about, are our two signs compatible? Each month at the new moon, you can ask these questions live with me, your astrologer psychic, Mary Dusina, along with host of Lighting the Void, Joe Root. Join us at the new moon for Cosmic Conditions. We look forward to working with your energy.
Every new moon at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fringe FM.
Do you want to know the truth? Are UFOs real? Are aliens visiting Earth? Are governments around the world hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO Seekers, official partner of the Fringe FM, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Join us as we investigate locations like Area 51 by subscribing on YouTube at youtube.com/UFO Seekers.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back with Mary Dusina. We're going to go through the signs and get your cosmic conditions out to you. Remember that we do this every new moon here with Mary, so make sure you tune in every new moon that we do this so you can tap into your 28-day cycle, man. It's important because it's real. Nobody knows it more than I do, trust me. It's a real thing. And being a Cancer moon, I can tell you, without Mother Mary, I'd be lost. Do some of you feel that way? Yeah, because
that's so sweet.
I have no like feminine presence in my life, and it's not a complaint. But the ones that do come into my life are like this, are amazing, right? So you have to think. I know she feels that way to a lot of you too, so please show her your support and get a reading from her. If you hadn't had a reading from her, you're missing out. I don't know what you're waiting on. If it's a financial thing, you can always just at least send her an email and say, hey, I'm really going to get a reading, this kind of thing. You know, I'm sure you get those too, Mary, you know, and
I do.
I can tell you it's not always like an easy life being a person that helps or doing what you do. I can relate to Mary in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, we're different, but it's such a reward when people. There's nothing bigger than seeing someone go through like an actual transformation and knowing that you are there to help them. You know, like some things ain't easy, right? Like you. This is why we're here. You know, I get this feeling sometimes, Mary, people are like, well, I'm just better off alone. And then it's like, well, if that was the case, then I think God would have put you on a planet all by yourself, you know.
Well, it's
reaching out to people that know what they're talking about helps, you know.
Because it's ultimately up to us to either recoil. Sometimes we have to recoil. Sometimes we need to hibernate. Sometimes we need to isolate.
Yeah.
Because when we're too busy and we're too monkey mind, we can get into that avoidance, like we get afraid of facing our emotions. Oh no, I don't want to feel sad, or oh no, I might drink again, or oh no, and I think that a lot of times when we can look at the disappointment or the supposed loss as it also, we don't have to learn our lessons in life through loss and pain and disappointment.
Although they are good teachers, it doesn't have to be that way all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, to your point, we'll go to the signs. The next new moon, by the way, is October 2nd, and it will be our solar eclipse in Libra, and that's October 2nd, and it falls on a Wednesday. So Joe and I will make sure our schedules match on that. But that's a very, Venus is in dancing in Libra. That's her PowerPoint. So even though Pluto's retrograde in Capricorn until November 19th, it's helping us look back to 2008, the Pluto and Capricorn thing. Look back to 2008, look again at 2020, and how we overcame, how we continued to climb the mountain amidst the struggles, amidst the lockdowns, amidst the losses since 2008, and what kind of foundation, even with losses, even with breakups, even with relocations and job losses, family members dying and all that, where are we now? And if that father died, if that dog ran away, even with the pain, we continued to have that faith and to go forward, because we know, if you doubt how well your life could be, look at the people that you were kind to. This is a part of Virgo's service. Look at the people, even though you had crappy things go on in your life and traumatic things go on in your life. Every time you focused on brightening up a child or an older person's or an animal's day, every time you did that, that collectively blesses the world. So the Virgo part of us is the part of us that will continue to lend a helping hand, to open up the door, to give a sincere word of encouragement, not flattery for the sake of getting something out of someone. So the Virgo seeds right now that are planting, Virgos are having their birthday right now. So Virgos, the August and September Virgos, happy birthday, happy new year, Virgo, and it's hitting you in your first house. This particular new moon is at 11 degrees, so it's in the second aspect of the three decans of Virgo. So this is where we really get the tiller out and we're actually planting the garden. So this new moon is both the harvest time of what worked this year, what crops really worked this year. Like my oregano took off this year. My rosemary, not so much, but my oregano herb is like, I'm the herb for you. The oregano and the basil took off this year. The garlic and the rosemary, not so much. And I'm like, what's up? So I look at the alchemy of that, of like, those herbs are talking to me. Those cooking herbs are telling me, you need more of this. You don't have to do so much rosemary and garlic. So I'll go buy my organic garlic and slam it in the freezer. I didn't have to grow it this year. So for Virgo right now, it's time to do a little personal assessment. Please keep the criticism out of it. So if you've gained weight or lost too much weight, or you're still afraid of the dentist and you just don't want to go get your teeth cleaned because the dentist terrifies you, it's okay for you to start to step up to the plate and figure out then, okay, if I don't want to go get my teeth professionally cleaned or I don't have the money, maybe I could start doing a little baking soda with some peroxide and water as a rinse. Because when you get into the world of dentistry, you'll find out that there's some coconut oil and things you can do that help keep the plaque off your teeth and the germs going into your gums. So don't criticize yourself that you don't have the money to go to the dentist or that you're a chicken shit when it comes to go to the dentist. A lot of people are. But the Virgo part of it would be, then damn it, you don't have to floss all the time if you don't want to, but start, doing some oil pulling, or start, having a teaspoon of coconut oil before you go to bed so your teeth are coated like that because it's antimicrobial. So these Virgo things, the Virgo element is saying, if I'm a scaredy cat of that, what can I do to balance out the fact that I don't want to go to the dentist? I don't want to spend the money. I don't have the $2,000. I don't have $180 for the, for the cleaning, blah, 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 and all that. Then you need to do some research and take care of practical matters. So the first house, new moon, this is your new year. This is about, you don't have to finish it, Virgo. What is it you would like to begin? And I keep feeling for Virgo and Pisces, but especially for Virgo, that your thinking process needs to be refreshed. It's like refreshed, reset, recalibrate. I feel like some of the old ways of doing things, some of the traditional ways that you did it 30 years ago, like some of your beliefs and your foundational structures are good. They've served you, whether you've been 20 or 50. They're still serving you. That's fine. Your ethics and your morals and all of that, that's good. But I feel like that it's also time for you to lean in a little more spiritually, Virgo. And for you Pisces, it's a 7th house thing, so you guys need to lean in a little more practically. Like Pisces, you might be sleeping too much. You might be into escapism, reading your magazines or going to your thrift stores or trying to appease yourself. I'm going to go buy something today because I get in the car and I get to go and I don't have to deal with what I should be dealing with right now. So Pisces, when you get into that 7th house, Pisces, you're the balance to Virgo, and you got the full moon in your sign. So the romantic part of this month for Virgos and Pisces is probably going to be the 9th to the 15th. That's where you can actually correct, if you're in an existing relationship, you can correct those flaws that you see within yourself, like where you might deliberately over-criticize or you might be self-sabotaging the relationship with your child or your parent or your love match. So the next several weeks can be filled with a lot of fun and pleasure for both Virgo and Pisces as you come into fall with open arms. Mars in Cancer is going to be very favorable for Virgo and Pisces. Your creativity zone is just like boom, whether you're going to finally get a health matter resolved, you got it scheduled, the surgery's going to happen, you don't have to deal with it anymore. You have to, the next step will be how fast can I get off the pain pills so I don't get addicted type of a thing. So there's always something else to resolve when it comes to our health and our wellness. But whether you're coming into an agreement or putting an end to a conflict or taking your relationship to the next level, Virgo and Pisces are the stars this month. And so that you just need to remember to negotiate it in the most fair, equitable way that you can. If you're Libra or Libra rising, this is in your subconscious zone of the zodiac. Virgo is your 12th house. It's the sign before the front door of your sign. So Virgo is the sign before Libra. So your solar return, your new beginnings, you got Venus in your sign this month. The fact that Venus, she's powerful when she's in the sign of Libra. So Venus is taking the normal edge off for you Libras and Aries. It's taking the edge off by being in the sign of Libra, her home place. She's taking the edge off of the Virgo sting of that 12th house. So where you could have delays, the 12th house can be delays. It can be where we have to go backwards before we can go forward, like Mercury just went direct. So now we're like kind of finally finding the right people to do the right service that we need. When Mercury comes out of shadow around the 9th to the 11th of September, you're going to see that's the best week in September to really get things resolved and put the bow on top of what the project was that you were dealing with in mid-August. And so for Libra right now, the 12th house is, what I find about when we go through the 12th house is that if there are issues or people coming back from the past, like a lot of people experience that with Mercury retrograde, but when you're going through your 12th house, when you're going through the sign before the sign you were born under or the sign that's right before your rising sign, so if you Libra rising right now, you have Virgo at your 12th house, it's fascinating. You can become incredibly psychic with yourself. Normally people can be psychic for other people, but not so much for themselves. So for Libra right now, your insight and your instincts to help your own self intuitively, to help your own self with dreams and visions and solutions is incredible if you'll lean it that way. When you're in your 12th house, you want to focus more on your spiritual anchor. You want to focus more on the people in your life that you know are reliable. Even if you don't talk to them a lot or you're not around them a lot, the people that are like, I know I can rely on their character. I know that what they say is what they're going to do. So, and it can be people that are coming forward, Libra, that can help you resolve a situation that maybe even goes back to late February or March, because it's after a long summer, The 12th house is the time to review, let go of what's no longer serving you, Libra. During this Virgo new moon, it's in that subconscious zone. It's a great time to recharge your batteries before your big season begins on September 22nd. So it's supposed to be reflection. It's supposed to be soul searching. If you're in Aries, it hits your 6th house. So it's definitely a time of all 12 months of this year, from August the 22nd to September of 22nd for Aries, pay attention to your states of wellness. What's the optimal way to think, talk, and approach this? What's the most win-win scenario for my health? I can reach for the bag of popcorn with the fake oils on it, or I could have a banana, or I could have some really good, I could eat some really good food, like I could have a salad, and then I can go have the burger that I want tomorrow. So if you're in Aries, you really need to be thinking about some new routines that you could add to take care of your skin, condition your hair. We talked about the dental thing. Aries rules the head. So try to look at more natural ways of fragrance. Find your essential oil instead of synthetic chemicals. I mean, the pendulum is swinging more and more against artificial chemicals and back to nature and back to basics. The 6th house, if there's anything that needs to be dealt with work-wise, then Aries needs to put a focus on that. So even if you can only put back $5, it doesn't mean a crisis has to happen, Aries, but just try to put back $5. No, I'm not going to go get that pack of cigarettes, or I'm not going to do that. I'm going to smoke less this week, and I'm going to put that away because I have something in mind that I want to buy, an equipment or a cell phone or some new shoes or whatever it is. So Aries, if they can just do that, you don't have to stress yourself and put a lot, but just put back $5. Just put back $5. Make it doable, not unattainable. But again, Aries, with the 6th house, you got to take care of you. You got to start with your soul. How's your soul doing? How's your thought process? That's what affects the physical body. If you're Scorpio, it's an 11th house thing, so you're connecting with tribe, you're connecting with friends. You're probably, Scorpio, going to end up making a long-range type of dynamic for something that goes into the spring of next year. Scorpios right now are going to receive some different connections of people that are going to want to see them or be around them, and it could be like late April, May of next year in the Taurus time of 2025. Those are going to be shifting into a lot of fire signs, a lot of activity for Scorpios in 2025. But 11th house is, you're going to see a change, Scorpio, especially with Venus going into Scorpio later this month. You're going to see a change you're going to enjoy seeing some connections, some social connections and friends really have some good things come into their life. Scorpio is going to be able to say, oh, that is so nice for that person. I'm so glad they finally got over that hurdle and this or that. So Scorpios are going to be helping their friends celebrate a win. If you're a Taurus, it's 5th house, and you may find yourself vicariously around younger people. Like, it may not be your kids, it may not be just your grandkids, but there's something about out of the mouth of babes, and there's something about art, there's something about creativity, there's something about, I'm going to a little sandpaper and I'm going to get that rust off of there and I'm going to paint that furniture that I want to paint, and the satisfaction of actually hands-on and doing something. A lot of Taurus people right now are wanting to actually get their hands involved in some kind of creativity, some kind of project. And I also feel like it's a really good time for Taurus to go out and do something different with their hair, something different with their wardrobe choice of color, whatever. It sounds like it's a really simple thing, but you got to remember, Taurus and Cancer people are okay with really simple, touchable, feelable upgrades. So especially for Taurus. But I think the neat mystical thing for you, Taurus, is there's going to be, you could just be out at a restaurant and there's something that you hear that 9 or 12-year-old saying, and it could actually be like out of the mouth of babes is some kind of angelic message for you, or it helps you re-celebrate your inner child. Like, you turn around and it's like it may be you're a female and it's a male child, and you're just like, I recognize that part of me. I recognize that creative fire, and it'll get you right back in. Like, Taurus needs to be with art and creating, sewing, painting, doing, refurbishing. If you're a Sagittarian, it's 10th house, And so it's at the very top of your chart. So Sagittarians are they're thinking about power moves. They're thinking about, I need to stop procrastinating, and I need to like kind of aim my arrows into something that has purpose. I may play my guitar. I may preach on Sundays. I may be a part of a community group or animals or whatever, but I need to step it up, and I need to kind of give this more direction and see some fruits of my labor. So Sagittarians are wanting to kind of consolidate where their energy is going, like they're getting the target ready, they're getting the bullseye set up, and they're deciding what's going to be in the center of that bullseye. And it's some really neat professional connections can come around Sagittarius right now, some power players. If you're Gemini, it's 4th house, and Geminis that I know, clients and friends that I have that are Gemini, are like, if I have one more home project that I got to paint, or I got to lift, or I got to rearrange. Geminis with Mars in Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini. The Geminis that I know, male and female, have just been crazy since spring, trying to get this painted and that cut and that positioned and that taken to the thrift store and par down and not have so much stuff. Like Geminis are getting really over what they have to maintain and how much it's costing them to maintain it or to hang on to it. So a lot of Geminis are going to be your garage sales and your thrift sales and paying it forward to somebody else, because Gemini really right now longs just to be with the people that they can let their hair down with and stop having to impress with all their tales of, well, I did this in my life, and then I did that, and then I achieved this. It's just like, shut up, be quiet, and have a good time and go to the beach.
Yeah.
If you're a Capricorn, it's like, shut up, I'm tired of hearing it. Go have fun. Give me some new stories. If you're a Capricorn, it's 9th house. Capricorns are longing to visit another culture, learn some different culinary skills. Like if you're Norwegian, you might want to learn how to cook Chinese. If you're Chinese, you might want to be looking to cook Italian or take some kind of little like 4-week, 6-week kind of class or something. It's like Capricorn needs some kind of just fun thing. Like some of the motels now, I know they're doing it in Tennessee. It's like a new little tourist thing that they're doing where you go and you have a dinner at a B&B, but it's like a little mystery. Or it's kind of like these little games that people used to play or coming to life, whodunit type of a thing, solving type of things, or comedy and dinner type of a thing. So and they let them wear period costumes and all that. So Capricorn needs something to take them away from their normal routine. But Capricorns are extremely particular about where they go and what they invest in. But I feel like Capricorn right now needs to somehow escape. And I used to do that. I have Capricorn positioned in my chart that when I lived in Florida, I would actually just go to a part of the beach, and like I would just tell my parents, and I would go for a weekend on like a really local, just the tourist part of the beach, and I'd spend all weekend there, even though I had an apartment on the beach, but I would still go to a different part of the beach just so I could be like isolated and be by myself, do just like a Cancerian recharge. So, and Capricorn, since its opposite sign is Cancer, Capricorn is the mountains, Cancer is the seashore. So Capricorns right now may be wanting to go to, even if the weather is going to be cooling, they may need to get around some water. They may need to get on a lake or get by the ocean right now to balance out, because they're always climbing the mountain. They're always wanting to make the path clearer, easier, more functional for other people. And if you're a Cancer, also Capricorn, there's some kind of legal thing that you're wrapping up, some kind of something sells and the paperwork of that, or getting it notarized, or sealing the deal seems to be pretty favorable for Capricorns as they come near that middle part of this month. And then again, on the 30th of September, Cancer's its 3rd house, you're just busy. It's just Mars is going to go into your sign, and you have to watch being passive-aggressive or being on the defensive, Cancer. You just don't assume. Just don't do it, because it's more important that you not walk like a Cancer sideways and say, well, say that to me a different way, or what I seem to feel about that, or did you mean it this way, or try to get the other person to express it to you in a different way, so that you're not assuming and getting your panties in a wad over the fact because you assumed that it meant this, and you could be absolutely
wrong,
out in left field over that. So when in doubt, express yourself and ask, because that's the more important way to find that out. And it's in the 3rd house, and so there could be some really great, like those people that have Cancer sun signs or Cancer risings or moons, you really could have some dynamic, emotionally charged conversations with people, podcast influencers, going on other people's show, like in your case, Joe, appearing with somebody else. I mean, over the 4th and 5th of September, it goes in there. Mars goes into Cancer. So any kind of a show format where we're getting to express any repressed feelings, or like if you did a podcast that had to do with what shuts me down, not about a specific person, but when I feel like, what shuts you down in a relationship? What makes you go defensive? What makes you be a people pleaser? Like actually letting an audience talk about that, even using fake names, anonymous names and all, and just talk about the issue more than who they are, could be so therapeutic in the month of September. It'll be 2 years before Mars is back in Cancer again. It's going to go into Cancer, then it's going to go into Leo, and it's going to retrograde, and it's going to go back into Cancer. So remember at the beginning of the show, I told you to find the Virgo Pisces part of your chart? Yeah, well, you also want to learn where the Cancerian part of it is, because wherever Mars goes is where the attention spotlight is going to be. And for all of us, Mars in Cancer is going to show us just how well we're doing with being optimistic and spiritual with our emotions and our feelings. And finally, if you're an Aquarius, it's the 8th house, and that's, again, very psychic. It's very transformational. Some Aquarians are dealing with the loss of something, leaving a job, someone or something passes away. It's just not your clique anymore, and so there's going to be some farewells. But as those doors close, Aquarius, with Uranus being retrograde in Taurus as well, it's going to be new doors are opening. And I kind of hear psychically, sometimes people come into our life for a season, and sometimes people come into our life for a specific reason. And then when it's done, the chapter's done. It's not bad. It's not good. It accomplished its purpose. And Leo, it's 2nd house, so Leos are kind of got their focus on finances right now. Leos are, Mars is going to go into their 12th house, like the 4th, and it's going to be in there for the month. And so when Mars actually goes retrograde, will be in the sign of Leo, but for the month of September, Mars is going to still hang out in the sign of Cancer. It will not go into Leo until we get to all of October. And then Mars is going to go into Leo on the 3rd of November. That's really important for us to know, that Mars in Cancer is going to be a long run with us, and then Mars isn't going to retrograde until December, and then it's going to bounce back into Cancer in January. So we're talking on September 2nd, Mars is going to spend all of September and October bouncing around in that water sign of Cancer, the crab. So that has a lot to do with our stomachs. So does Virgo. The whole digestion, indigestion thing, are you acidic? So that's the target area of the body. And with Leo, it's going to be like letting go of the past and embracing the future. Stop basing your future just on where you've been, where you've worked, what you did. Like, get some new stories, Leo. You're like Gemini. Invent some new stories. Bloom where you're planted, Leo, because that's the important thing. But the main thing I've got is I like September. And I think we're going to have a real upbeat energy that comes in on the 22nd, the 23rd, when the moon meets Mars on September 25th. There's some passion. There's some emotional drive that starts to happen. Mercury will pop into Libra. So that last week of September, there's a lot of things coming together if we'll just do the Virgo thing of be practical and just deal with what you need to deal with right now and focus on the task that maybe we've all been procrastinating a little bit and putting off. I didn't have the money. I didn't really want to do that right now. It's a good time to do that. Like check the battery in your car and the fluids in your car, because Virgo's also the mechanics of everything, our tech, our, and say blessings over the cell phone and the computers and the cars. Bless it, because you're bringing in electronic energy onto the things that we tend to look the other way. We expect that cell phone to work. We expect that car to start every day. So let's at least start with the first practical spiritual experience of thank you, power being on. Thank you, car, for your safety and the mechanical superiority. And thank you, computer, and thank you, all my techie stuff that I need to have. Let me just put a blessing on you. And if anything should go awry, I trust that it's just its time and everything will be resolved in divine, some perfect ways. I allow divine harmony and divine alignment. You got to call it in with words under Virgo and Gemini. So we've got to do our homework. Got to.
Right on. Blazing through the signs, Mary.
I know. So I want people to understand that you can anticipate success. I want you to feel that anticipation of success. It's going to flow because we're taking effective responsibility. And if I take responsibility psychologically, mentally, metaphysically, emotionally, if I say I take responsibility for manifesting harmony, I will ask my angels and my guides. And you know what? I will ask. I'm not too good to ask. And I will ask because I am a good person. I do give back. So therefore, the win-win pendulum is fine because I don't just take from people. I'm not greed-driven. I'm not self-entitled. I am a good person. I prove that to myself. That's who we have to prove it to most of all. And then when you know that, you don't have guilt blocks. You don't have psychic blocks on being able to receive tithes and tips and surprises in the I have people that will just send me a card and they'll say, here's $30, go spend it on the animals. I know you love animals. And it's just like that person didn't need a reading or anything. They just said, I just wanted to send you money today.
Speaking of which, I got a card in the mail from Catalina. Those of you that have been wondering about her, she's okay. She's still listening. She's still lurking.
Isn't that wonderful, though? I mean, when you get something that you haven't heard from in a while that's been a great support, and then out of the blue, it's like, boom, here we go. It's like the tribe checks in. You know, sometimes they got to go off on their own little family thing or their work thing or whatever, but when they check in, it's rich, and it's a dessert. And it's just like, oh, you're such a dessert of energy. Thank you for coming back in, like you just said about Catalina. You know, thank you for, you know, that's such a treat to feel and touch in with that person's energy. That blesses them, and that blesses you. So this is a reciprocal type of energy. This is me and thee winning, not just I and the I show. This is about the people we care about, the people that come into your chat room, the people that listen to your podcast, the people that are in your neighborhood, the chicken, the animals, you know, the things. I've got a deer now. Joe knows I always have this changing of the guard of animals. There's this male deer that I thought it was eating the black sunflower seeds. No, he's eating the little dry dog food. Of course, I buy the good shit that I throw up there for my skunks and my possums, and the deer's coming up like, yo, bitch, where's that dry? I said, oh, you're eating the dry dog food. You're not eating the seeds. And he comes up there, and he just puts, just like that bear I had, Joe, in 2017. Now the deer goes up on that concrete wall, and it just has its little nocturnal buffet, as I call it. And I'm like, okay. So last year in September and October, there were 14 turkeys, wild turkeys that show up. Right now, I've got the male deer. Not a bunch of deer, just him. He won't let anybody else come up, and he eats, and the skunks eat, and the stray cat eats, and the possums eat. Now I'll have the little Walt Disney party out back, and I have animal creature TV all the time. All I have to do is just buy food.
Yeah.
But
I have a story to tell you about that, but we'll take this caller. 216 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina, who he's speaking with.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Hey,
I'm calling in to give you kudos.
Oh, you might get a little feedback too, just to let you know, because I'm working something technical out. But
good news.
Well, thank you.
I got good news from you guys tonight, and I am so happy.
Oh, that's
so good.
I really desperately needed this from you guys tonight. I'll take the card, but you know what?
What?
I don't know if I can get anything better from you guys that I got tonight.
Oh.
You guys rock my world all the time, but I needed to hear what you guys said tonight and the whole broadcast, and it makes my heart warm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love it. Love it.
That's better than money, honey. That's a warm heart and successful words that went out into the ethers to help encourage somebody. Yeah, that's better than, money's wonderful, but that's rich. So the card that you've got is the sunrise. So new beginnings for you on a new moon, which is interesting. So there's new creative energies. The seeds are alive with the spark of our great star, the sun. There's new ventures, and there's a fresh start that's around you. So what it's saying is you're getting a fresh start even. So the prediction is, the manifestation is, fresh starts with the kiss of the sun. with the great star of the Milky Way, the sunrise. So sunrises are beginnings. So there is not just encouraging words, but you're getting the validation from the oracle that these are tangible, see it, touch it, feel it manifestations that are coming towards you. So there's a lot of, think about light and candles and incense and the Olympic torch. In a sense, it's like the runner goes out with the torch and let the games begin, every 4 years whenever they do that. So it's about, there's something that the light has come to tell you. We're granting you new beginnings, a sunrise for you.
Man, you couldn't have picked a better card than that one. Sun.
I couldn't have picked better people to listen to and light my world like you do. So, I mean, honest to God, you guys gave me such a good feeling this time, and I need to hear it. I was really kind of getting lost there for a while, so I love what you guys do, and I want to bless both of you guys for doing what you do, and I just can't give you enough kudos for what you guys do for people, but I was lost, and I didn't, calling in each month, the last couple months. I mean, you always gave me inspiration, but this month it really did it for me.
Oh, that's great.
And I need to hear that. You guys rock.
You.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks. Thank you so much. And thanks for your call, too. Really appreciate it.
Love you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great caller there, right? Huh?
Well, look at the power of words. Anybody listening could tell that she's grateful for the inspiration. She's grateful that we've shown up and we do what we do. That tonight was that extra something for her. So the power of the Virgo intellect and the words and taking more words to bloom out some of these feelings that we often keep repressed. Sometimes we get a little embarrassed about our frustration. Sometimes we feel a little guilty, like, why am I complaining? I really don't. I have so much to be grateful for. Why am I complaining? Because to thine own self be true. Yeah. So the Virgo part of it, if we can start with why are we frustrated, and are we blaming ourselves or are we blaming someone else for that loss or that frustration, let's take it back and move it into this too shall pass. I just need to get a plan.
Absolutely.
That's Virgo. That's Virgo.
Unscreened, an unknown number and an unknown area code. You are on the air with Mary Dusina, who he's speaking with.
Oh. Yeah, forgot about that. Joe, this is Mike in Virginia. Mary, thank you for being here.
What's up?
Thank you.
I have been through a lot in the last year as far as things are concerned. I've got somebody I consider to be a guardian angel in my life. She met her, and she's been taken to the food banks, which allowed me to save money up and get some stuff paid off. Just about done with that. I got a new cell phone, the one I'm on. I texted my sister, gave her the number. She called me back. For the first time in 69 years, I have a sister to talk to.
Wow.
We had a great conversation. It was even-keeled. She wasn't sniping me or talking down to me or anything. It's like suddenly, and she was sharing.
Cool.
She would never share her life at all. I'd ask her questions. She wouldn't tell me. Today, she was talking about stuff.
Wow.
And I was out in a parking lot probably a couple months ago with the woman that's been taking me, and she had to go to another grocery store, so I just sat. And I'm sitting there, and she made a suggestion that, we keep going because I got the loan paid off, got some stuff paid off, and it's like, and she's in charge of this entire thing. And she laughed, and I just sat there. And she was talking about me keep going with this to save money up to get a used car because I have an old van. It's like 18 years old, and I'm putting money into it. Okay. And the entire parking lot lit up. And it's like I could see, it was just vivid colors everywhere. Now, this is going to be on the abduction side of UFOs, because you mentioned that in your talk. Yep. And if you don't want to read that, that's fine. And we can just go on with something else. August the 1st and 2nd of last year, I had my final abduction. And they're gone. They're not coming back. They made a mess of my left shoulder. I have a lot of blood blisters on it and little, patterns and stuff like that. And they look like a where a needle may have gone in. I think that's part of the release that I've been feeling, because I don't have to worry about that. I'm not, it's in the back of your head. You usually can't move forward because it's always tugging on you. That's gone.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, what with the last abduction, is there anything new coming out of it, or for me, like, to be, help or do something?
I see a dolphin, Mike, and I feel that the dolphin is jumping over the white, frothy, pretty part of the wave, like the waters are churning, not in a storm, but it's playing. And what I'm hearing is there's some kind of a gain, some type of a blessing that's coming from something that you were involved with or that you did in the past. And as far as the abduction scenario, I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like that was something karmic, and I feel like that it was something that the door needed to close, and now you've got to get kind of accustomed to the fact that that's never going to be a taunt or a haunt or a hindrance again. Sometimes when something's become a habit in our life for a long time, it's kind of like, whoa, that's really not there anymore. And I feel like one of the starts the runway of the blessings is that you don't have that anymore. That I feel like, and it's bizarre, but it feels like part of the abduction was that something that you had in your cellular makeup and the hybridization, and it's too long of a topic to do for this coming up on the midnight hour, but I feel like that there's something to do with a collective energy in the container of who you are and who you've been that was hybridized or shared, and now that's done, like the project is done. And then I see a dog, and the dog is wagging its tail and smiling at you like, you don't have to own me, but I'm going to be an earth angel. It looks kind of brown or tannish, and it's coming towards you close up, and it's saying, you're just going to pet me one day, and I'm the bearer of the blessings that your hand actually touches, and I'm going to go on my way, and you're going to go forward, but you're going to know that this dog that appears as an earth angel, and it's just letting you know about the divine timing, that there's going to be some type of close ally, friend, associate that comes in, and then I see a cup, and you're toasting. So to me, when there's like a goblet or a cup, or you're toasting the wine glass or whatever, that there's something that you're going to be in a companionship thing, a congruency, a joint project like you've had with this woman that was the head of everything that came in as an ally to help you catch up some financially and take care of stuff. I feel like there's another blessing way ally that's coming in, because I feel like these are people that match your vibration now.
Okay. The dog may be Dixie. I have one of my neighbors has this female beagle, and she's standing white, and she comes over periodically, and I just pet her. She does, and I have to call the owner to come and get it.
The dog's like the good luck charm type of a thing, and the dog knows you from other times, and so like it's with somebody else, but it's just like every time you touch it, it's as if somebody went and did a big old ceremony with some shaman in South America, and it's like, oh my God, I'm totally changed. I saw the life vine, all that stuff people say, but the dog can do that for you too. It's just like it's elevation.
So there's another endeavor coming, because what I kept thinking about was all this has been going on, and it's and you're right. I've been letting it go more and more, and the more I let go, the more I'm here, and then the happier I am. I've been happy, especially my sister. So it's more happiness, and I'm looking around, and then it feels like I'm getting ready to start constructing or doing something with what I've got, and I may not have to go very far because I got quite a bit. I really do. But that's just kind of wondering. It's like that's all done, but is there, like you said, there was somebody else coming in to endeavor to do something, to move forward with something, because I just felt like there's, I don't know, more I can help with or teach or show somebody something. You know what I mean? When they come up, you can sort of broaden the perspective for them.
Yes, all of it. But that's going to happen for you too. See, it's going to be a win-win. It's like you have valuable energy gifts, and then there's going to be a collaboration of someone coming in, and it's going to be because you got relief in one aspect, and here comes somebody else, and you're going to, I feel like you're meeting the tribe that you're supposed to meet on your earth life now. Like the people coming in around you are the people that walked with you before in other walkabouts, and they're coming back in. And the fact that you can trust each other is because you already know each other's souls. That's what my guys
cool.
do. You already know each other's souls, and so there's not that whole thing, well, I've got to test them, and I've got to vet them, and how do I know if they're genuine or not? It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing.
Right on.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Let
call,
us know.
brother. Yeah, call us back and let us know. Good call. I got time for one more because I think we started a little late. So
we did.
If anybody wants to ring the phone lines, I know one person's been trying to get through the whole time. I always feel bad for those people. You know what I mean? There's always that one that's like bing, 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 and then someone just gets through in between their calls. You know, that's part of it, though.
We have to trust spirit on that, though, Joe. We have to trust spirit because, as I've told you from 5 years ago, whether you get in on the phone lines or not, every reading that we do, if you're listening to this live or you're listening to it for a replay, and for some reason the September one is the one you made the time to really listen to the replay more than once, the readings are collectively for all of us, including myself, including Joe. It's a collective type of vibration.
Right.
It's collective. So it's like it's a marriage in a sense. When we get to the sixth sign, when we get to Virgo, it's the marriage of the conscious mind and the divine coming together, helping the harvest maiden. It's harvest time. We're coming into, on the 22nd, the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. So it's like this year's garden grew, or it didn't grow. It produced whatever it needed to produce, and now we're moving into a different mode. So we're shifting more into our intellectual being hugged and embraced by the mystical.
Well, persistence does pay off sometimes. 651 area code, you're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
It's Scott Morgan from Minnesota. How's it going?
What's up, man?
I cannot believe I got through. Well,
sorry about the feedback.
Anyway,
I saw you dialing. I'm like, oh, man, over and over and over again. I was hoping you'd get through. So do you got a question for...
One, kudos to you, Joe. This show was awesome. I always wanted to tell you in person how much I appreciate the show, and you also connected me with Mary. I'm one of her clients.
Awesome.
And I just wanted to echo what you said. You know, if anyone is listening to the show and they're like, hey, you know, I'm sort of on the fence whether to get a reading from Mary, I'm telling you, it's the real deal. I'm a newer client, but I've had 3 sessions. You know, word of caution, though, it's transformative. It's the real deal.
Right.
And I'm just so grateful for this show. It's just great content. It's fresh. It's modern. And that I just love the chemistry that you and Mary have, especially on these shows. And I'm so grateful to her because she helped me through a really hard time this year. And I'm just very grateful. I'm just very grateful to you both. And that's what I wanted to share with you both today.
Man. Thanks, man. You sure you don't want a card or anything, though? I mean, I'm sure she'll pull you one.
I've got one. All right,
it's all. This show has been crazy accurate so far. So let's do it. I wasn't going to ask for a card, but if you got one ready, Mary, it's good to hear your voice. By the way.
Thank you, Scott. God bless you. So the card that it flew out of the deck when you had first said your name, and it's like the Oriental gong, you know, the big, beautiful, ornate gongs, and the Oriental guy is like hitting the gong, you know, which are great openers for Oriental ceremonies and all. And it says an exciting event. So I feel like that there's been an impasse. And then I feel like as you come to like the third week, like 22nd through the 25th through the 26th of September, that you're really going to be getting your feet are walking into something like, I love this. Oh, this is just what I needed. My whole chakras are resonating with this. This is the uplift that I needed. And I just feel like it's like creative. It's inspirational. But I also feel like that it's fortifying. I keep getting the word fortifying, that whatever energy had to be expelled to go through different dynamics of life that you've gone through, I feel like that there's going to be so many verifications and so many validations that are coming towards you before this month ends that you're like, yeah, I not only closed some important chapters and rose up and healed from it, but I'm starting a new book. So it's not just a new chapter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a whole new book.
I just got
It's a whole new book.
It's all, well, that's one. Thank you for that. That resonated with me, and I'll look forward to getting my next session with you soon.
Thank you so much.
But thank you both so much. You both are just amazing. I just appreciate you all so much.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
I'm telling you, as you all bless Joe and I with your love, with your energy, with your tithes, with your support, I promise you it splays out to more people than we can ever name, because I always have such a warmth in my heart for the people that may never call, that are out there in the nocturnals or listening with their morning coffee or tea, and we can continue to, because of the replays on YouTube and everything, we can continue to get this word out there and to bless people. So click the thumbs up on the YouTube so Joe gets some monetization from that. Tithe to the show when you can to help the equipment and the network and all that, and just know it's a fact how much we appreciate and love you, because it's just the truth. It's just the truth. You're the part of the moving parts.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep, you're the moving parts and the gears that helps this keep happening pro bono every month, because pro bono means we're here for you, but there's still cost factors, and I know you're intelligent enough to realize that. Just want to thank you all. I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful, and I love the Virgo time of the year, and my favorite full moon is the Pisces harvest moon. It's not always Pisces. Sometimes it's Aries, but I'm telling you, this moon, I promise you, with my 40-some years in astrology, this is a powerful spiritual healing moon. Take whatever has been scaring you or troubling you and give it to this moon, because this is rapid-fire healing, and you will be tuned up, recalibrated, and blessed. It's a baptismal full moon, so let go of your shadows and be blessed.
Thanks for your call, brother. You call back anytime, man.
Thank you both.
All right.
You both are awesome. Attitude of gratitude. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Love that. Attitude of gratitude. That's the best part of Virgo Pisces.
Well, I mean, is that what you wanted to say in finality? Right, what you just said?
Yeah.
Or do you have a message that you want to close it with?
Virgo can be the attitude, and Pisces is spiritually, ultimately, it's the gratitude. But again, changes are here. Our feathers are going to be ruffled. But, when you ruffle your feathers, you also will be able to fly. So it's time to fly. It's time to leave the ground and fly, and understand that we have bountiful treasures and baptisms and blessings in our spiritual storehouse. It's okay. Don't feel guilty to call them in. Don't feel guilty to call for heaven's prosperity upon you. You deserve it. Allow it.
Amen to that. We'll be back the next full moon, of course. You guys know that. And make sure you go to marydusina.com. It's right there on the screen, but MARYDUSINA.com. Boy, I feel like I'm getting old. Every time I spell that, I have to check myself. You're
not getting old.
But
My whole life, people, it's the way it's pronounced. A lot of people want to spell it with a C. So I'll say to people, they want to spell it D-U-C-I-N-A because it's pronounced Dusina. So it's the Italian thing. And in Italy, it's actually Dusina, and that would confuse people even more. So I say it's Du and C. D-U-S-I-N-A.
Right on. All right, you guys.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, audience.
We'll be back tomorrow night. Make sure you come back for the new moon again once Mary comes back. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Sweet dreams. Night. Thank you for all your love and support. Good night, y'all.